Hello. Welcome back, or welcome. This is the first time here. This is a channel about cross stitch and my Etsy store and my personal haul and some really bad story time. And my name is Bobby. So I actually don't have tons of personal haul today, which is crazy. And then I have a little bit of shop haul. And then we will finish our Hot Mess Express story time with Harriet Tubman. So last video, for a $15 coupon to my shop, you guys had to ask me a question and use the word question. So I'm going to go through these questions first and answer them, and then we'll see who wins the $15 off. I got a per box over here. I came in here when I was getting ready to film and was bringing all my stuff, and Skeeter was in the chair, and then all of a sudden Isis decided she wanted to be up in the chair. And of course, you know, Isis doesn't like any of them. She hisses at both cats and the dog all the time. But I'm going to insert, this is what happened. Y'all being best buds? You gonna sniff her butt? Say hi. Hi. Isis, are you being best buds with Ski? Yeah, maybe. Oh my God. At what point will this turn into hissing? Oh. We like each other now? Okay, that's good. Okay, so, right? I was so excited, and no hissing happened. And then Skeeter got up on the desk, and then Isis got down, so they weren't there very much longer, but I was like, holy moly, that is amazing. Okay, so, got lots of questions. Now, I wrote them down, but I didn't look over them them hair. Oh, sorry. They threw the Isis. I didn't really look at them. There was a couple that I had to go find the answer to. You can't, there's nowhere for you to be. I'm sorry. Did you just toot? Anyways, so this is Flosstube number 25, which I forget to say every single time. And I also forget to say, hey, give it a thumbs up if you like it. Click and subscribe if you want to be able to see more. I mean, I guess you don't have to subscribe to see more, but you know what I mean. It'll show up in your subscription list. And hit the bell if you want to be notified when I put out a new video. I don't say that stuff because I don't know. I feel lame saying it. But I want people to subscribe, and I want you guys to give me thumbs ups, and I want you guys to be notified and watch. So I guess I better start saying that. So one of, not best new thing, because I don't really do best new things, but cleaning yesterday, because we had not a surprise visit, but closer to last minute visit from my in-laws, which was so glad they came and I got to see them. I'm very fortunate. I have an amazing mother-in-law, but I was off Friday and had all these plans on Friday to get all this stitching done. So I knew on Friday they may come. Wasn't 100% sure if they were coming Saturday. So I spent all day Friday doing everything I would do for the shop on Saturday normally. So I was getting in, doing the normal pack and order stuff, but then I was also getting in all the patterns and the other stuff coming to the shop, and working on all that kind of stuff. So because I knew I wasn't going to be able to on yesterday. And so they did end up coming, which was fine that I had, but means I got zero stitching. I did not get hardly any stitching done. I did a little bit this morning. That's why I'm filming this about an hour after I normally do. But yeah, And then when I'm done with this, I got to pack a bunch of orders. It's my life. Oh, and then I also had, this is all just randomness, but one of the people that I purchased things off Etsy, the vinyl backdrops for when I take photos and stuff, they sent out an email saying that they had their own website, that they didn't totally disappear, that they had their own website. And so I checked it out, and of course it was Shopify. And then I reached out to her because I placed an order, of course, because I always like to freshen those up occasionally. And even though I keep going back to like the same 3 that are my favorite. So I bought from her new website just to support her, and reached out and was like, hey, you know, first bought from you on Etsy. I am currently on Etsy thinking about doing my own website. I see that you just did that. How do you like Shopify, and how is it? And she was just raving. She said it's a lot of work to get it set up, but she's just so ecstatic and pleased with it. So, and that's kind of the consensus that I've gotten from everybody that I've asked. So yeah, I'm going to do it. I just got to figure out how and when and in between what. Yeah, because even more, I sit there and the more I think about, I know I always talk to you guys about this, but y'all are my sounding board. I was sitting there yesterday and I got a pattern in that I had told somebody when I get it in that I would let them know. And of course I make notes, but sometimes if I'm at work and somebody is inquiring and I look and it's like, I try to take a photo, you know, just take a screenshot of our conversation. So then I'll remember to go home and look at it. But y'all, I'm human. Things happen. I forget. And so I got to thinking, how amazing would it be for when something's out of stock? Number one, you can see it. I don't like that you can't see out of stock items on Etsy. It drives me bananas. I can understand it if you wanted to hide something, like you should have the option to hide your out of stock, because it could be, or like deactivate it totally because you're never going to carry it again. But stuff that you plan on getting back in stock, I feel like should show as sold out or whatever, just so people can see that you do offer it. But so I'm assuming with my own website, you'd be able to see out of stock items. And I want to, whatever the little app is, I'm sure the widget that I've got to pay for to add to the app or add to the website, to where you can click that says email me when in stock or notify me when back in stock. That's what I'm talking about, because then Bobby's brain don't have to try to remember who wanted what, when, where, and how, and then try to search through all my messages in Etsy to remember who it was if I didn't write it down. Because sometimes I just get an epiphany and go, oh crap, somebody wanted this, and then I look and I didn't write it down. I'm like, oh, and then I'm trying to like go through all my messages. And so yeah, it's so I'm thinking that's one thing that could save some time for me, right? And be way more efficient so I don't forget things. And then you guys are notified through your email, which most people check their email way more than they're going to see that they have a message on Etsy. So, yeah, so I think that's another really good. I'm like just stacking up on the pros over here. So I just need to, and then also that way I can also send out an automatic response when somebody places an order, which I do love having that personal, interaction when somebody places an order, that I'm the one, you know, I go in there and I type it all out, reply. And I do have my little formatted of what I'm going to say. But I'm still typing it in, and of course, you know, being able to sign it. And then of course I sign everything with XOXO. And it is totally in Kristen Bell, Gossip Girl voice. XOXO. So I feel like it's not as personal if it's an automatic generated thank you. But when I order something from somewhere, it doesn't bother me if it's automated. I'm just trying to think of ways to where I can offer better things for you guys, and that also will benefit me, so that I can do more things for you guys. All right, let's get to these questions, shall we? And I did not write down the names because I didn't ask anybody. I mean, I know y'all could read the comments and figure out who asked what, but since I didn't ask, I'm not going to say the names on here. So I'm just going to kind of just read the questions and answer them. And then there are a couple duplicates, but I still kept them on here, and then because some of them are worded just a little different, so I could have just a little bit of a different answer for it. But okay, first question: how many pets do I have? I have 3 cats and a dog, 3 boys and a girl. My house is ran by males. It's just me and the 16-year-old are the females. Isis, she's the oldest. She is 16. She will be 17 in May. And she has made numerous appearances in my videos. So she's just a gray, just short hair cat. She's nothing fancy. And then the next one is Arlo, which is a male cat who doesn't have a tail. And he just turned, he is getting ready to turn 2 this month. He'll be 2 years old this month. Then we have Jasper. Jasper's the puppy dog. He's a German short hair pointer, and he turned 1 last month. And he's a handful. And then last but not least is Mr. Skeeter Ray, who we thought was a little girl at first, and his name was Hattie Mae, and then we found out it was a little boy. So he became Skeeter Ray because we had to go, keep it country. Keep it country. So he is I think he will turn 1 in May. So he's still itty bitty and he's still growing, and I think he's going to be a big boy. He's already bigger than Arlo, or about the same size. Isis is small for her size period, so I can't compare any cat to Isis. Everybody thinks she's still a kitten because she's always just been really small. So, but yes, so those are all of my pets, and they're our children. Not really our pets. They're our children. They are very, very spoiled in many, many ways. Okay, and the next question is, what does my favorite outfit look like? Okay, first of all, I wore it today. So I've got my Alabama attire. This is my favorite Alabama shirt that I have. Then I have my favorite hoodie, but it was a little too warm up here to put the hoodie on. But yeah, so Alabama attire, it's like sportswear. Of course, my husband found this one at Cracker Barrel. It's a little big, but that was all they had. And I was like, and it was on sale, clearance, and I was like, buy it. I don't care. And then my bottoms that I have on are just some capri cut yoga pants, workout pants. I don't know. They're just that. I don't know if they're really yoga. I guess yoga pants are more of like the cottony feels, but these are the same Airwicky, whatever. I mean, it's not a flattering outfit, but it's my favorite. And yeah, and I know it's wintertime and I have capri, but a lot of times I have jogging, like gym shorts on because I'm in the house. I'm not going outside. Outside's a whole different story. Okay, so the next one, this is going to take forever because we're 12 minutes in. Actually, almost 13. I'm going to try not to get down too many rabbit holes with these questions. When are you going to use the wood cutter thingy you showed? Girl, I'd like to know. There is a huge learning curve, and as you will see with other people, some of the questions that they ask, people are realizing, and probably because I say it like every video about my lack of time. There's a learning curve. I am gonna have to take off some like serious time from work, like 3 or 4 days in a row or something, and dedicate it to learning that machine. Because right now it's just sitting there doing nothing but letting the cats walk all over it. But it's going to get there. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. So I'll get there. Once I figure it out, it'll be no big deal, because then you put the wood in there, you set however many cuts you want, whatever you want to do. And while it's cutting and doing its thing, I can be doing the other stuff. So it's, it's like the laundry. But it's learning how to use it first is the time consuming part, and I just got to get it done. Bad excuse, but is what it is. What is currently your favorite item that I have in my shop? Okay. So, and I just remembered that the whole reason I got on the in-laws coming was for a whole different story, and I totally just passed it by. Yeah. I was trying to talk about, because then when we found out, we had to, of course, clean our house Saturday morning before they got here. So as I'm cleaning the house, I moved a bag that had been sitting on in the floor over by the kitchen table. And I picked up the bag and I was like, what is this? And I pull out 2 of these. And my husband goes, oh crap, those were for Tony, which is his buddy. And he's like, I forgot to put them in his bag. And I was like, so a little late now. It's not Christmas anymore. So these are now mine. Thank you. So I stole one and took it upstairs. That was going to be my best new thing, was what I was trying to get at, is that I have some butter toffee popcorn and I'm super excited about it. Okay. Sorry. That was a rabbit hole that wasn't supposed to be a rabbit hole, but I had to finish what I was saying because I'm terrible. I did that last week. Started a story to tell something and then it went down a whole different path, and then it was all that I was trying to say that, yeah, I was going to be carrying something in my shop, and it was the winter animals. I was brought the free, because they were the giveaway, and I was starting to talk about them to say I will be carrying those in my shop. I have ordered them and they are coming. And somehow that never got out in the video. Oh. And then it's even worse today, guys, because I'm not on scroll. I don't have my checklist. So buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay, so favorite thing in my shop currently. Oh, that is so hard. Because I love all the things. Like, I mean, for the most part, I am handpicking things to put in my shop that I would want to purchase. There are very few things in my shop that are things I wouldn't want to purchase. But some of them I have request, or I know they're going to be popular, so I go ahead and put them in there. This would be one that would have been really good for me to think about before I was standing here talking to the camera. God. Okay, so I'm going to put a picture of it here. This is the pattern that I saw that introduced me to RETM. I can't believe I have not started this pattern yet. I can't believe I've not even kitted it up. This is probably my favorite item that I've had of all time in my shop. Which is crazy that I haven't started. I need to get on that, don't I? But yeah, that pattern is Alice. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Okay. How do you decide what projects to work on first, day by day? I don't. I normally don't get to work on multiple things during a day either. So, well, sometimes that's not true. There's long breaks between what I get to do. So at lunchtime, I don't necessarily have my lunchtime piece either. I have about 5 things that are in my little tote bag that I carry. And right now, the little stitcher patterns have been hot for lunch. Just because they're small and they stitch up pretty quickly. But yeah, I just pull my bag out when I'm done eating, shoving the food down my face as fast as I can so that I can stitch for longer. I dig in my little bag and then I go, oh, let's work on this one today. So I don't know. It's not really a system. And then when I get home, if I can get everything done in my shop with enough time to stitch for a little bit, and I maybe get an hour to stitch at night. So on a good day, a work day, on a good day, I get 2 hours to stitch. On a good day. It's just not much. But, so when I get home, if I'm going to get to stitch, it's the same kind of deal. Unless I have something that a goal that I'm trying to meet. if I want something finished by such and such. And these are always goals that I set for myself. They're never like, oh, let me hurry up and finish this part of this stitch along because the next part's getting released next week. Yeah, I don't play by those rules. I just do whatever. I can't handle that kind of pressure. My day job is pressure and deadlines enough. I can't give myself those kind of deadlines because I don't want my hobby to be stressful to me. And those are, but I know a lot of people, they need the deadlines because it helps them get things accomplished. It just stresses me out. I do much better just winging it. I really do. So then like normally, so like on a Saturday, sometimes I don't get to stitch at all on Saturday, depending on how much stuff I got going on with the shop. So I try to stitch a little on Sunday morning, which I got to do today because today's Sunday. I think it's Super Bowl Sunday. I know that. I don't know why I said I think. It's Super Bowl Sunday. So yeah, I stitched a little this morning, so that was good. Because, well, I'll tell you more about this when I show new starts and whips, but it changes constantly. There's no rhyme or reason to what I pick most of the time. It's not even necessary. I mean, I guess it's whatever's calling me at that exact moment, and it could change. So sometimes I go to work and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to stitch on this today during lunch. Then during lunch I go, nope, I'm stitching on this. So my brain doesn't know until the moment I'm picking up that bag and what I'm going to stitch. That was a really long answer for something very simple. Sorry. Would you ever, this is like a really good question. Why am I, oh, it's because I'm leaning from like, why am I all up in the camera? Let me sit back here. So, oh my God. Y'all gonna see my little big old freckle right there, which is now I think turned into an old lady spot. It was a freckle, but I think they grouped together and they've ganged up on me. And so now instead of being a couple little freckles, they're now an old lady spot. I don't have any other freckles on my face. Just this beautiful, beautiful beauty mark right there. Okay. Sorry. Not really. I mean, I apologize, but I do it so often that eventually my apologies are just empty, aren't they? Anyways, this is a really good question. Would you ever consider having your husband do a video with you? Yeah, I would love for him to. So I went so far as to ask him if he would, and he was willing. And I thought it would be so cute if we had him next week because it's Valentine's Day, but he has to work. Wah, wah, wah. So it's fine. I'll have him another time. But y'all, and this is not a giveaway situation, but put in the comments what questions you would like for him and me to answer. I know we just did all these questions here, but about him or us or whatever, because I got to have some type of script. I don't want to say script, but something to go by. Otherwise, it's going to be him sitting there staring while I'm talking and sharing stuff, and him just looking like he's lost. So I need something to help interact. Which sounds weird because obviously I know how to interact with my husband, but you know what I mean. This is new to him. It's new for him. He's gonna be all nervous. When I first asked him the question, he goes, yeah, I'll totally be on there. He's like, I'll come all in and I'll have like my sunglasses on and I'll have me some like Fuji water or whatever and come in like I'm a movie star. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll make you a little plaque with your name on it. He was like, yeah. And I said, and then I grabbed like I was going to interview him and I said, so, Mr. Nally, what is it like to have a wife that's famous? And he was like, F you. So, I mean, I'm not famous, but you know what I mean. It was funny. So yeah, there's no telling what that video is going to be like, but so y'all need to help me with a little bit of guidelines on some things y'all would like to know. So yes, I would consider it, and we are considering it. We'll just have to plan it out the next time he's off. How do you even have time to stitch? Well, as I just explained, I hardly don't. I do my best to fit it in where I can. It's difficult. I wish I had more time to stitch, but I also love my shop so much that that's what I'm doing, is I'm sacrificing stitching time for my shop. But I love my shop so much that there are days where I feel like I definitely feel the sacrifice. But most days I don't, because I just love it so much. So, so I don't have the time very much, as y'all see from my projects every week. It's like, oh, I got 130 stitches in this. That's it. All right, so the next question, I ain't calling her out. Why do you think Damon is hotter than Stefan? Coming at me like that. Well, first of all, let me show evidence. Come here, Mr. Salvatore. So this is Damon, his beautifulness, and you can't tell in this how amazing and beautiful his eyes are. And then Stefan's up in here somewhere. Where you at, fool? He's probably buried in the back because it's not my favorite. And then we have this dude. Yes, he has that nice chiseled, sharp jaw, but he also has a very, very chiseled nose, which I'm not a fan of because it looks like it would hurt if I tried to kiss him. He would poke me in the eye, and it would not be good. So I don't really feel like there is a competition between those two. Do y'all? I mean, and also part of the Damon hotness is his attitude. Let's just face it. If nobody's watched Vampire Diaries, y'all should totally watch it. It's great. It's a great waste of brain space. But it's his attitude. He's the bad boy with the good heart eventually. And now I'll just jack that all up. That's fine. So again, I don't think there needs to be an explanation because it's obvious. She knows I'm messing. Okay. When are you expecting that XU fabric? XU design. Okay. So I showed that picture of all that all that fabric got held up at customs. I had to fill out paperwork. So I've not had that happen, and I've ordered from her 2 other times. I've gotten fabric from her. This was a giant order, so I'm assuming maybe the size or the weight is how it got held up in Memphis. But yeah, I had to fill out a fabric form, and that was not easy because literally, like, the first question is like, name the manufacturer, and I'm like, I believe she's a lady dying in her house. She is not a manufacturer. And then it was wanting to know what type of fabric, and I'm looking at all this, like, it's almost like I was getting bolts and bolts of something, like that I was some big plant or something here and was going to be making all the clothes for JCPenney's or whatever. And I'm just like, and I sent the girl a picture. I was like, here, hopefully this helps. This is cross stitch fabric, guys. Like, settle down, settle down, settle down. So anyways, so hopefully, because she didn't reply back, I said, if you need any more information, let me know. She did not reply back, not even with a thank you. So hopefully she got everything she needs, and hopefully that fabric is on its way, because I actually thought I would have had it before this video, and I thought it was going to be really fun to be like, oh, I got some, but no, sadly, no. So hopefully, I mean, I get stuff shipped from China, and that doesn't get held up at customs, but whatevs. So yes, my fabric is stuck in Memphis, which is only 3 hours away. So hopefully it'll be delivered soon. Hopefully I answered everything that she needs me to answer. I mean, I had to put, like, wanted to know the weight. And I'm like, I don't know the weight. You have the package. How do I know what the weight is? And I literally told her that in the email. I was like, well, I ordered it by the yards, but she's got it all cut up. So when you ask for size, what size are you wanting? And it says literally on the invoice that you sent me to help explain that it's a yard of fabric. Why do I have to put the dimensions? Okay, that's a whole nother soapbox. Sorry, I will get off of that and move along. Hopefully the fabric will be here soon. Another one. Where do you find the time with work, Flosstube, Etsy to stitch? I just answered that, but as you know, it's difficult. And I have a pretty hefty commute to work. It takes me a full 45 minutes if there's no traffic to get to work, and a full 50 minutes to get home. So it's like 2 hours a day I'm spending in the car just going to and from work. And that you know, so if I had a 5-minute commute, I probably could stitch in the morning and probably actually be able to stitch every night at least, because I would have 45 minutes of my evening too, that wasn't just spent in a car. Although on the way home, I do talk to my daddy on the way home every night. And then now that my mom she says she's retired, but she's still going into work. She's just going in late and leaving early. So we'll call it semi-retired. She's now home, so I get to talk to her and my dad. And they only live 7 minutes from me. I pass by their house every night on the way home. But I still talk to them. Because Dad's birthday was last week. He's a groundhog baby. He just turned 88. So, yeah. I've been doing that for 20 years, talking to my dad every night on the way home from work. And now my mom gets to join in, which is awesome, because I'm sure she always felt like she was left out of the Bob and Bobby Club. So I'm sure she's enjoying being a part of those conversations now. And then on the way to work, I listen to podcasts. I listen to my murder. So works out perfect. Gets me ready and awake for work. Next question. Is your shop online only? Sadly, yes. And there's no plans to ever have a brick and mortar unless maybe one day when I actually get to retire. Because if I had a brick and mortar, it would have to be a full-time plus job. So yes, my shop's only online, which also brings me to another thing. I have mentioned on here a couple times how many times I have reached out to Brenda Gervais because I just kind of wanted her patterns when they were immediately available, or order directly from her, so that I have to wait around for the distributor to get it. And she never responded to me, which is fine. But I finally went to her website again because I was like, I'm going to reach out again. I mean, I know I went through Facebook and reached out. I know I reached out on her website. I know I reached out through Instagram, reached out everywhere. I was like, I'm going to reach out again. I'm going to be that annoying person. It says, as I read the full thing about ordering from them, she will not sell wholesale to online stores. She will only sell to brick and mortar. So sad that she's missing out on that, but that she's missing out, right? Because I would throw tons of dollars her way, but that's okay. I'll just wait till the distributor gets it and then buy it from them. I may always get my patterns like a week later, but which then leads me to believe there are some people I think that are doing pre-orders on her that do not have a brick and mortar. So that tells me that they are, as soon as she's releasing a pattern, they're putting a pre-order out there. Now, part of me wanting to do my own website was me talking about the pre-order thing. But if I were being able to order directly from the designer, like I do RETM, I feel comfortable knowing that no matter how many pre-orders I got, I would be able to fulfill those orders with no problem because I'm getting it directly from the designer. They just print more, right? Things that go through the distributor make me nervous because there are a lot of times they're out of stock and it may take me a month to get something. And I don't think that's fair to put out pre-orders. And if you don't know for 100% that you're going to be able to fulfill all those orders in a timely manner. So it's just more food for thought on thinking about the pre-order thing. Because I know I always get irritated when I see people and I'm like, how did they get it already? They're not. They're doing pre-orders. And I guarantee they don't have it yet. And I'm just not comfortable. If it's not in my hand, or if I know for a fact I can't get everything that possibly could be ordered, I just don't feel comfortable doing it. All right, sorry. Back on track. Back on track, Bobby. Do you ship to the UK? Yes, I will ship anywhere. If they find a way to ship to Mars, if anybody's living there, I will ship to Mars. I ship everywhere. You just have to know that lately it's been, even if you're in the United States, there is definitely, it may take a time to get there. But if you're willing to wait the few weeks, 3 to 4 weeks sometimes overseas, I will ship it to you 100%. I do not offer free shipping for international, but I will ship it. You just have to pay for the shipping. Okay. What got you interested in cross stitching? No clue. I mean, I know who's to blame, but I have no idea why it, like, was something that called to me. I mean, I have no idea. And I think I told this story last week or the week before. It all started with quilting and the Fat Quarter Shop and Kimberly. And Lori Holt getting her back into cross stitching, and then her talking about cross stitching. And I was like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember that from when I was like 7 or something. And I was like, And I've seen the kits and stuff in the stores, and I always thought they were super lame. And so when I saw Kimberly talking about a Flosstube, and I was like, what the hell's Flosstube? So I watched it because I'd been watching her quilting YouTube channel for like every week. So I was like, okay, so I'll watch it. I watched the Flosstube, and I think she probably showed a ton of patterns that were country cottage needleworks, because I have a million of those of that type of pattern. So apparently I thought that was all that was out there. Not really, but and the little houses that were like little cottages, the monthly cottages and stuff, they were cute, which I'm not normally like a cute person. They were cute, but they weren't like precious memories or precious moments. Like, that's what I think of when I thought of cross stitch, was like precious moments. Which there's nothing wrong with those, but it's very 80s, early 90s. Not my style. I mean, I have a couple because people have given them the actual figurines to me, but not my style. And that's why, and I think of, and teddy bears, not my style. So, that was what I always thought of when I think of cross stitches. Like, my brain was stuck in what the patterns were like in the 80s and early 90s. And it's just not my style. So when I started seeing Kimberly stitching on this stuff, I was like, oh, that's cute. I mean, I think I would display that in my house. So I was like, all right, I'll buy a few patterns. So I bought a few patterns, and put in a few stitches, and was just like, this is amazing. And I think, and really it kind of started off because I was like, this can be my lazy hobby. Because quilting takes work. I have to be upstairs. I have to be standing up most of the time that I'm sitting there cutting all the blocks and stuff, because my cutting table's higher and I have to stand up to be cutting. And plus you want to be able to look down and see your stuff, and then put the pressure on the ruler and cut and all the stuff. And then you're only sitting down while you're sewing. And then you're ironing. And it's a lot. Quilting's a lot of work. I enjoyed it, but it was a lot of work. And so I thought, oh, this can be a lazy hobby that I can do sitting on the couch while Chad's sitting there watching TV or whatever. And I can do it right there on the couch. Like, be perfect lazy hobby, right? Because reading was my other lazy hobby, but you can't do that if other people are watching TV and stuff, if you're supposed to be halfway paying attention to whatever's on the TV. So yeah, so that is how, that's how it happened. I have no idea though, like, how I became obsessed with it, because that's all you can say that it is. It's definitely an obsession. Because literally 9 months after starting to stitch, I opened an Etsy store. So an obsession is all that you can call it. Oh, next question. What prompted you to start an Etsy shop and Flosstube, since you are so new to stitching? Well, the prompted on the Flosstube, I've probably wanted to do way back. Watching Kimberly and Michelle G, and actually it was Christian and Derek. They just got their channel started too. Watching them, I was like, I could do that, because I didn't have anybody to talk to about stitching at the time. And I was like, and then I slowly brought in my friend Tamara, and now she's stitching all the time. She stitched in college, but I brought her onto my obsession train. But yeah, I was like, I want to do that. I want to share and document like what I'm working on and what I'm doing. So the Flosstube had been like rolling around in my brain probably since I had started almost. And then the store was just my husband joking about all the stuff I was buying. I mean, I bought a ton of stuff. Sorry. Because I have to own all the things. If I'm going to do something, I'm all in. That's the way I roll. So he was making a joke that I literally could start a shop with all the stuff that I have. And I was like, you know what? I could start a shop. I was like, and then I could get all my stuff at a discount. It's a win-win, right? And literally that's, and I love talking about it, and I love like sharing stuff, and I don't know. I mean, the initial thought, I am sure, was for discounted products. And then it's like, but then I can talk to people about it. And then people can ask what I think about this. And then I can show this. And then I can buy all the things that, even though I can't stitch them all, but I can show them to other people and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So then it was just excitement from there and all the things. Because yeah, I just love it that much that I then want to be immersed in the whole community and be a part of it. Okay, so what made you, it's kind of the same question. What made you want to start an Etsy shop, which I did. But the second part of their question is it a lot of work? Yes. Yes, it is. It's a lot of work. It's worth it. And every time, you know, everybody hears that saying, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. It's true. As sappy and feely as that is, it's true. It's true. Because my biggest struggle that I have with my shop is that I want to quit my day job. Do my shop full time. That's my biggest struggle with it. It's a lot of work. But when I go into my day job, and yes, I'm there 9 hours, but I'm only working 8 hours because you have an hour lunch. When I leave that place, and don't get me wrong, I like my job. It's fine. But when I leave there, I feel like I've been hit by a bus. Like, I am mentally exhausted. I'm drained. It's a lot. And that's 8 hours. On, for instance, Friday, when I took the day off from the day job, and ended up having to work in my shop. I started at 7 o'clock in the morning in my shop and finished at about 9 o'clock at night. And I did have probably a 20-minute break in there to eat lunch, and we didn't eat dinner until 9 o'clock at night. I didn't feel like that I worked that many hours. Like, it didn't feel like that. So I don't know. It's just different. I don't know how to describe it. It's just different. It is a lot of work, but I love it. So it doesn't feel like work. And I know, super blah, 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 but I'm just saying, it's true. The next question, and I'm not quite sure what because I think she may have actually had a typo on this question, but I think it was along the lines of like, am I a bird head yet? Or am I into the birds now? Which is funny because she wrote that question before she finished the whole video and I started talking about the birds again. Wait till y'all see the patterns. I am definitely, because like I said, you look around here and I got a bird there. I got a whole bird thing there. And then I got a little bird holder thing up there. I got a lot of birds. And yeah, so but it's more in decor. Like, I'm not really big on stitching birds. Although that little snowbird by the little stitcher was super cute. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm not into stitching birds. Unless they're ravens or crows. I am 100% into stitching ravens or crows. Yeah. But as of the other birds, I mean, sometimes there are patterns where they're cute and I like them, but I think my bird thing is more decor. I mean, I have a whole chair. I'm gonna put a picture of my chair now that I'm saying this. I have this chair. I have this chair up here. And then I have 2 of them in my living room. And the reason we have 3 is because one came with the arm broke. My husband fixed the arm. I complained. They sent me a whole new chair. Told me I didn't have to send the other chair back. So I have 3 now. So the fact that I ever questioned if I was into birds is just downright hilarious. It just snuck up on me. I don't know. Oh, I gotta get me a drink. And it's brought to you by Burger King today. That's what we had for lunch. My hubbies went out to go to the grocery store to buy stuff so we could have walking tacos tonight because that's what I was craving. I'm spoiled just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, they obviously sounded good to him too. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left and do it. I am 45 minutes in and we have not done any stitching. I'm still answering questions. So I'm hoping that this is okay for everybody. If it's not, sorry. Okay, what type of vehicle do you drive? I have driven my whole life GM cars until this one. I got the Hyundai and it's a Palisade and I love it. I love it. It's super like spaceshipy in the inside. So like I have the push button and then I do not have, I don't have a gear shift. I got a button. It has a P and then an R and a D, and I just push a button. I love it. And it has like all the safety features. Which nobody should ever drink and drive, but this car, let's pretend, let's do texting, not drinking and driving, because you're not supposed to text when you drive either. Okay, let's say you're driving tired. Let's not try to break all the laws while I'm trying to explain this car. If you're tired, which happens to me sometimes driving to work, Gertie she will tell you if you've crossed the lines, and she'll put the brakes on the other side and pull you back. I had to turn that off of Gertie, because with my inner ear thing, I have to be in control. Like, for instance, I know this is like so many side stories. If I'm sitting in a swing, like a porch swing, if I'm swinging it, I'm good. If I'm sitting in a swing that somebody else is swinging, I will be green to the face and I will vomit. So it is my inner ear balance thing has to do with me being in control of and knowing what's to come. So when Gertie likes to pull me back in, I'm like, I can't do it. I fight her. And so I had to turn that feature off. But it's a really good feature if you were driving and you're a little tired. If you hit that line, it lets you know and it pulls you back into your lane, which is an awesome, amazing safety feature. She has all the alarms to where all the sensors across the front bumper and all the sensors across the back bumper. Also, even if you turn your blinker on and you see that a car is coming, she will scream and yell at you and vibrate your steering wheel that there is a car in your blind spot not to get over. So she's a little aggressive at times. She also, if you drive tired, you will occasionally, a coffee cup will come up on where your digital speedometer's at and tell you that you may need to take a break. And I tell her to quit backseat driving me and I'm fine. But yeah, other than that, I love Gertie. I feel like I have an adult car now. Not that my Terrain was an adult car. It was an adult car, but she's fancier. She's got bells and whistles. Her trunk opens all by itself. It's all-wheel drive. I've never had an all-wheel drive. Haven't had the weather yet to test it, but yes, I love my Palisade. Cannot say, I mean, it's just a great car. It's great safety ratings, everything. Yep. So next, sorry. Okay. How do you sleep knowing you have so many projects waiting for you? I sleep fine. I have talked about numerous times, I'm a commitment phobe, so having All the whips and projects that I have, the ones kitted up and the whips, does not bother me at all because I'll get to them when I get to them. You know. They can sit there. They ain't calling to me yet. It's fine. Okay, next question. Do you believe Bigfoot is real? Okay. Do I want him to be real? Absolutely, 100%. Even more so a Yeti. I'm a huge, huge Yeti fan. Do I think he's real? No. I don't. And it's sad. I want him to be real so bad. But no. But I still love him. So, you know. Okay. What is your favorite Disney movie? Okay, because somebody else asked me what my favorite animated one. I made this question be which some of theirs are mixture of animation and non, but if it's got real people in it, I'm not going to consider it a fully animated movie. So what is your favorite Disney movie? Pete's Dragon, 100%. Love Pete's Dragon. Haven't seen Pete's Dragon in 100 years. I need to rewatch it. I watched it over and over and over when I was a kid. And over. All right. What are you stitching on now that you can't put down? Currently, it's probably the girl in blue. Although I've had to put her down because I didn't get much stitching done this week during lunch because work was just so crazy that I really didn't get full hours of lunch. So, oh, this one's kind of along the sleep lines. How do you get sleep with all that you do? I probably could do more, but sleep interferes. I am in bed at 9 p.m. And I wake up at 5 a.m. So I get pretty good sleep. I could get way more stitching, obviously, if I stayed up till 11 o'clock at night or midnight or whatever. But I'm not a night owl and I'm not a morning person. So I am and also getting up at 5 a.m. I'm tired by 9 p.m. I'm tired. My brain's tired. I stay up way later on the weekends because I don't have the day job wearing my brain out. I'm just mentally tired. So 9 p.m. I'm ready to get in the bed. Now most time I don't fall asleep till probably 10, but I get in the bed, kind of watch some TV with the pup or chat in the pup, and I want to be asleep by 10. I get up at 5 a.m. So, and I'm not a morning person. So, yeah. I mean, I probably, saying that, I love stitching. I'm obsessed with stitching, but I am more obsessed with sleep, and sleep has been my obsession for way longer. So, I'm also that person, I cannot function without at least 7 hours of sleep. I can't function. I'm horrible. Like, you wouldn't want to be around me. I'm grumpy. I've always been like that. I don't know. I've always needed my sleep. I know some people can work on 4 hours and they're better that way. Oof, not me. Not me. All right. This is a good one. Most embarrassing thing you've ever done? Well, there are numerous ones, I'm sure. Well, the hardest part is I don't get embarrassed a lot. So, I embarrass myself, as in when sometimes things fly out of my mouth, I embarrass myself, but I'm not really embarrassed. So the thing that came to my mind first, and that's what I'm sticking with, is in junior high school, I was part of the yearbook club or whatever. And so we were at the front of the cafeteria. So like the whole cafeteria, everybody's sitting at their seats. And we're at the front of it where everybody can see us. We're at a table and we were selling the yearbooks. I was tilting back in my chair, just on the two legs, and had my hands on the table and was just sitting there talking and whatever. And, if anybody's been in a school cafeteria, those floors they're a little slippery. a chair went out from underneath me and I landed flat on my back. And if you can imagine how much that echoed through the cafeteria, and everybody is standing up and they're all like looking, and of course for a split second I was mortified. I was so embarrassed, but me and the person that I am, I immediately hop up and was like, I'm all right, we're good. And then I just sat down and continued about, what I was doing. Of course I got applause, right? Because that's what happens when you're young and you do something stupid, you get applause, right? So, but that was probably like one of the most embarrassing thing. I mean, like I said, I probably have a million more, but that was the first thing that popped in my head. So obviously that has a little scar somewhere in my heart where that was very embarrassing to me, even though outwardly most people probably would not have realized that I was embarrassed, because I got to make a joke out of everything anytime I feel uncomfortable. It's the way it is. What's your favorite non-stitching thing to do? We already talked about how much I love sleep. Watching TV, watching movies. Like, I'm a big movie person. Like, I buy all the movies. My movie collection is ridiculous. Like, I could put, oh wait, Blockbuster already went out of business. But yeah, like, I'm a huge, and I like having that copy, my own copy. I don't care that it's streaming somewhere because it may go away and then you don't have it. But before the pandemic, me and my girlfriend, Amy, we went to a movie once a week because we were part of the AMC VIP, whatever they are, club thing where you pay $20 a month and you can go see like up to 3 movies a week. So we would go, like, on a night that my husband worked, I would go see a movie. And then the puppy happened and pandemic happened. So we have not done that. And I can't wait to get back to that because the theater's open again, but like their restaurant's not open. And got super bougie with our theater because we had the big, amazing lounge chairs, the leathers that, the whole back went and your feet went up, and you had like a slide tray and they served your whole food. Like, I would eat a hamburger and french fries or have like this big, huge salad. It was amazing. Well, they don't have any of that right now. You can buy a couple of the appetizers and they deliver it to you, which is bullshit because they try to say that is now all the theaters are dine-in. And the last movie we went to see when it had first opened, I got excited because I was like, oh, sweet, it's a dine-in. It ain't dine-in. They brought me some pretzel bites while I sat in a shitty chair that felt like 52 butts had been in it before me. It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, it was just like, how theaters used to be before I got super spoiled. And I was like, nope, not coming back until that restaurant opens again and I can actually get my burger and fries. I mean, like, they have like good burgers. I know it's a stinking movie theater, but my favorite burger had like brie and fig jam on it. Like, come on. So good. Okay. So movies. Watching movies is probably my favorite non-stitching thing to do. Okay. Another one. What made you want to open a cross-stitch store? Which I did answer that. How many whips do you have? So I did have to prepare for this question. I have 29. I don't remember what I had last time when I talked about it at my whip parade. But yeah, I have 29 whips and have way more kitted up, but I didn't count them obviously because they don't have stitches in them. Then someone said, who is next for Hot Mess Express? Okay, so for February, I really wanted to do Black History. That's why I started a week early with Harriet because she was going to take 2 weeks, but also because the 14th is on the Sunday. Is that even true? I think it is. I'm going to do Cupid because that's next week. So I'm going to do Cupid. I mean, it's appropriate, right? And then after that, we'll go back to Black History Month because I have a list of the peoples. All right, so will you carry Brenda Gervais' Love Notes and her Easter set? Love Notes. Got it in. It's in the pile over here. Her Easter set wasn't available yet through the distributor, but as soon as it is, always know if Brenda Gervais puts it out, I will be purchasing it through my distributor. It just makes it take me longer to get it. This next one is almost wins the best question ever. Who do you think killed Tupac and Biggie? Okay. So let's start with, I think Biggie was killed as revenge for Pac because people thought Biggie had something to do with Pac's. I do not think Biggie had anything to do with Pac. And at one time, Biggie and Pac were actually friends. Even though I know Pac put out a song about doing Biggie's wife. But still, just saying. At one point, they were friends. And I know a lot of people think that Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, that he had something to do with it. No, he's too weak. He ain't have nothing to do with Pac's murder. Okay, so that being said, I think it was Suge Knight. I think Pac was ready to leave the Death Row Records, and Pac was a cash cow. And I think Suge, even though I know Suge was in the car, I just think Suge actually got shot by accident. I think he thought that he could get it pulled off. And maybe when he put the hit, he wasn't planning on them doing it while he was in the car. But I think 100% it had something to do with Suge Knight. Because he's a gangster, not in a cool way. He was shady, just all around. So that's what I think happened. I own documentaries on Tupac. Yeah. Another little obsession there. I remember where I was when he was shot. And when they pronounced him dead. I remember where I was at. How many times have you been to Disney, and when are you planning to go again? Okay, so this one's hard and I really couldn't count it up. When I was 16, me, my mom, my dad, and my boyfriend at the time went to Daytona for spring break. And me and my boyfriend at the time drove over to Disney. And that was probably my second time I had ever been to Disney. I had went once when I was like 5. And so I think that was my second time that I went to Disney. And then my parents, while we were at Disney, they bought a timeshare in Daytona. So then we went to Daytona every year after that, up until a few years ago. And I went to Disney almost every year. There was probably one year where I didn't go anywhere. And then there was a few years sprinkled in there where we did SeaWorld or we would do Universal Studios. The thing is, I've never stayed on Disney property. And I want to so bad. And I could show you notebooks full of me at different points in my life trying to plan a trip there, all the way down to I have days of what I'm eating that day. I mean, like, I get obsessed in this whole, like, literally plan. I mean, I wish I had grabbed one. Most recently, I was supposed to, but pandemic happened. Me and my friend Amy were going to Universal this past October. We were going to stay there for Halloween Horror Nights. And then we were also going to go over to Disney for one day and to Disney Springs. And we were going to do the Not So Scary Halloween. And very disappointed that all those plans went to hell. Hopefully we can go this October. We just keep pushing our plane tickets out. But the big plan was supposed to be, because I believe, it's the 50th this year. So what was supposed to happen was me and Amy were supposed to do the Universal thing in October with the one day at Disney. And then this year, me and my husband were supposed to go in the fall and stay a whole week at Disney. He could give zero shits about Disney. But when he gets there, he has fun. But he doesn't like, it's a cop. He doesn't like the crowds, and I get that. But once we're there, like, he has a really good time. I mean, he's not as obsessed about it as I am. I mean, it's the happiest place on earth. I don't know why you wouldn't be happy there. So we were supposed to stay for like a whole week. But now all the plans have been pushed. So then Chad and I probably won't go to Disney probably won't go to Disney till 2022. And then hopefully me and Amy can do the plans that we try to do with Universal and then the one day at Disney. So we'll see. But I've been a ton of times for the fact that that I've never stayed on property. and that I don't live that close. All right. So do you have a favorite Disney animated movie? Yes. And it's not probably the one you all think, because I am so obsessed with Alice. I'm sure you all think it's Alice in Wonderland. It is not. It is The Fox and the Hound. And I reached out, I commented on Park Hopper Bart's last Flosstube, because I did buy, I showed y'all last week where I bought the Robin Hood pattern. I asked him if he had any plans for Best of Friends. And I watched on YouTube, somebody, of course, you know, uploads the clip of the song from just the clip that has the song in it from the movie. And I watched it yesterday. I started crying. I mean, I can't help it. Oh, I love it so much. And he said that he actually had been thinking about The Fox and the Hound the other week. And I said, Destiny. So hopefully it would be wonderful. I mean, I'm sure it's not gonna be anytime soon, but I would love for him to plot out a Fox and the Hound pattern. Cause yeah, that was my favorite movie, as a kid. And I even had the red record that came with the book, when I was younger too. The next question is, how's Skeeter? Skeeter's amazing. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where any of the cats are at. They've all left me. But Skeeter's amazing. He's a little fatty 2x4. Can't fit through the bedroom door, but it's okay. We love it. It's fluff. Oh, there went Isis hopping by. Somebody else is looking they want to know of a good splotchy fabric for Quaker Halloween. Well, I put Quaker Halloween on early, oh, squirrel, literally. What's he doing out there? Oh, you got you a nut. You have oak trees, so lots of squirrels, got tons of acorns. But he's like right out the window. Sorry, squirrel. I put Quaker Halloween on early Halloween by XG Design, and I've got some newer fabrics coming from her, other colors that I didn't have before. So I would tell that person to definitely check back XG Design. She's got some great splotchy stuff. I don't know if Picture This Plus is still hard to get from other places. I know I haven't got my order. I'm not sure if it's still hard to get, because I think the original pattern was done on Murky. And it would look good on that, and it would also look good on Haunted. So some really good splotchy fabric. Only got 2 more questions, guys, and we're an hour in, and sorry, God, I could talk forever though. Do you have a unicorn chart? And then I didn't finish reading, and Amy asked me this. I'm calling her out. My dumbass was like, yeah, I showed one last week. It's the Lady and the Unicorn. Duh, I have a unicorn chart in my shop. And then I was like, oh, she means like a unicorn to me. God. No, I don't. I don't think I've been around long enough yet. And everything that I have been like, ooh, I like that, I find it. I've been fortunate. Yeah, I have not had a unicorn chart yet. I'm sure it's out there, just not aware of it yet. So, and part of that's just being, I think, this new to it. I don't know. Or maybe not exposed to enough patterns out there. I don't know. All right, last question. Who is your favorite band? Okay, so this is very difficult because I have a very large range of musical interest that I have. And Pac is not, sorry, Tupac. He's, Pac, I'm on like, half first name basis, right? It's like half his first name. He's not really like a band, but there's just so many, like I don't even, like if you hit shuffle on my iPod, which I do have an iPod, if you hit shuffle, you don't know what you're going to get. You could get 90s gangster rap. You could get the Beatles. You could get Bob Marley. You could get Creedence Clearwater Revival. You could get Otis Redding. You could get Disney. That is the only, I don't do like show tunes or Broadway or whatever, but I do have, because way back in the day, for a short time, I worked at the Disney store in the mall. I was a cast member, and they had around that time came out with their Disney classics and volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and however many they have, because I have them all at the time. There was like 10 CDs or something like that. And it was the original music from the movies. So, yeah, you never know. I mean, you could just turn my iPod on. Next thing you know, there's Cinderella, Cinderella. Like, you have no idea what's going to pop out of my iPod. I had different favorites at different times in my life. 5th grade, Bon Jovi was by far my favorite band. But yeah, I don't know if I have an all-time. Like, I mean, the closest thing I could come to my favorite artist of all time is definitely Tupac. But I don't know, every artist, they just mean something different to me. And I don't really feel comfortable picking a favorite. Ugh, is that like a lame way out of that question? Yeah, because like I'd like to say like Otis Redding, but then I'm like, but Bob Marley. Yeah, it's a great question, and it's hard, and yeah. So I'm gonna limp out on that question and not fully answer it. Yeah, it's difficult. Okay, that was a lot of questions. That was an hour and 10 minutes, and I don't know. God, this video is gonna be so long. Y'all gonna hate me. If you're even still here. All right, so let's do the winner after all those questions. So I had, where are you at? Come here. No. Where are we at? There were 35 comments. The word question. We're going to hit start. Boom. Tracy West. Ooh. She asked me if Bigfoot was real, because she has the needle minder from Rebel Stitcher. Yeah, so Tracy, if you just email me your well, it's just your email, obviously, because I don't need your address, and that way I can email you the coupon code to get $15 off at my shop. So congratulations, Tracy West. And then that was a great question about Bigfoot. And I eventually I'm hoping to get some of those type of stories in a Hot Mess Express. Like, I'd like to do Wendigos, I like to do Skinwalkers, that kind of stuff. I'll just have to put a warning on it so that Colleen from Stitching with the Sisterlies, that she doesn't watch that at nighttime. Because I don't want her to get scared. I want her to be able to sleep. Okay, so let me do personal haul real quick, and then we will get into the shop haul, which it's a good thing that, that my personal haul is not that much. And then I'll also have stitching, but again, not that much. So, if you watch Rebel Stitcher, Colleen, you saw that she had a tote. It had her little Frenchie, it had little, what am I saying? The fabric, it's a green purse. The fabric was Frenchie fabric. Just so cute. And I asked immediately, was like, reach out to the lady that made her bag, Jen, and Jasmine Ravenclaw, and was like, I need all the things. And so I had to order fabric for all the things. Like, I have a ton of fabric here, and I did pick, which I didn't bring it in here, one of my Alexander Henry fabrics that's got the zombie pinup ladies on the black background is going to definitely be used for a tote. And I'm going to use these totes to have my project bags and stuff in. But I also was like, I'm going to go look at Spoonflower, see what fabric's out there. So this is definitely going to be a tote, because I'm all about the octopuses, the krakens, as y'all know from my bathroom. And then, of course, green's my favorite color. But, ooh, matches my eyes. But yeah, like, I am obsessed. I love this. And then I'm going to have her make a bag out of this. And this, I can't, wait, does it say what it's called? This is called, just kidding. Doesn't say what it's called. Really? That's sad. I think it's like something's a murder's a mist or something like that. And it's just some really good scenes. Like that a murder's happened. Like there's the maid being all creepy and the guy and yeah. And the woman with the wine glass and there's a shadow behind her. Is that one on that one? No. Hold on. So yeah. The guy in the boat. So yeah. So she's gonna make a bag out of that. Getting all the things made. And then I bought fabric just because why wouldn't you just buy fabric? I mean, I don't know. I'm so bad. This is like a Little Red Riding Hood that's phenomenal. I mean, spoonflower. And these things that people are designing are just to die for. The only thing is like, I wish, I don't know how this is folded. Like, I would love to buy this and, like, make project bags, like, to sell. But, God, they'd have to be so expensive because this fabric is just ridiculous. And I'm sure you can't buy it wholesale. And this is, did I get this in canvas? This is, like, linen cotton canvas. I think I don't know. I may want to get a messenger bag or something made out of that. Can we talk about it? It's a Ouija board with an octopus on it. I mean... oh, it's fabulous. And then this is also canvas. And it's Alice in Wonderland. I love it so much. And then they sent me a little pen, little pen, and then a little thanks from Spoonflower. Okay. And I forgot that I had bought the Primitive Hairs. It was an anniversary gift thing for her anniversary of how many years. I'm sure it says somewhere on here. It's her 10th anniversary. And it came with some of her fabric. It came with, I'm sure this is supposed to be a scissor fob. Of course, for me, it'll probably end up being a bag pull. And then we got a little thread holder. And then we got a little label to put on the back of one of our pieces. And then we got a pattern that's exclusive to this. So, I love it. Which, I'm obsessed with her anyways. So... I was getting this no matter what. And it came in, like, it had great little tissue paper. And it came in this great little box. Y'all, I still have to take pictures after this. I didn't think me answering questions would take so long. I don't know why I didn't think it was. So yeah, little 10th anniversary. Isn't that cute? And then the next thing I got was another, it's more fabric. So it's just my Fat Quarter shop. It's my Moda Fat Quarter Club. This one's Mill Creek Garden. That was pretty. But again, like I told y'all, I use these. I don't really use them for a quilt. I use them for FFOing if I get around to it. Okay, and then another one of my kits that are monthly things. It's the mini pen mini club from Just Another Button Company. Look how cute those are. Love it. And then Some Bunny Loves You is the pin keep pattern. Isn't that so cute? So, and then, so I found a designer, Hair and Needle, on Etsy. And I bought 2 of her patterns. The first one is Bram Stoker's Dracula. How amazing is that? And Friday the 13th. How amazing is that? Look at her shirt that has the off the shoulder. I mean, can we even? Love it. So those happened. And so Heaven and Earth was having a sale. But I bought minis. Most of these are minis. So I got Mini Queen Elizabeth. I don't know. Anyways, she's phenomenal. And she will go alongside my Anna sleeves. The other cat. And then I got, is it Percival and Beulah? So cute. In so many colors. And that all started because I saw Michelle from Bendy Stitchy doing Cletus. And I got the mini Cletus, which I love. And then I think this is Contessa with squid. And I know that Michelle is doing Josephine. But I don't recall what Josephine looks like. I've only seen the stitching. I don't remember what the pattern looks like. So I don't know if this is actually Josephine or if that's Josephine's cousin. I don't know if Josephine's really called Josephine or she named Josephine. But that's phenomenal. And all of this is the same colors in the pattern that Michelle's doing. And then I got another mini called Zombie Cats. And this one is not a mini. And it's called Dante's Fury. And she's phenomenal. Yeah, so all that happened. So now apparently I do Hades. No, I don't. And then I got some Stitchy Kindness from my girl Denise. It came in this cute box. It says, hello, beautiful. And she sent me these that she crocheted. Are they not? Look how delicate. It's so tiny and delicate. They are so pretty. I love them. She's also the one that made me the snowflakes that were so amazing. So this box smells so good. Oh, and then, I mean, we're using all the stickers. I won't show you the note, but look at this bling. Woo! How beautiful. And then I had a beautiful sticker. Love it. Love it. Too kind. And so I had a box filled with chives and hot chocolates and chocolates. I mean, and chocolates. So yummy. And this box is full. And if you could smell like the aroma coming out of this box is amazing. Yes, Denise, thank you so much. I love it. And the moment it came in, I was like, oh, it's so amazing. And then my mother-in-law stole a pack of hot chocolate mix out of there and had it. And she said it was really good. It was the white chocolate one. Okay, so let's finish our Hot Mess Express story time. And then we will get to patterns. We are an hour and 23 in. I don't know if y'all like it when I do that or not. If y'all would rather just not know how long you've been stuck watching me. I don't know. So we wanted to finish Harriet Tubman. And we're starting with her routes and methods. Right? This is probably still going to take. Oof. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is a lot. I'm flipping through a lot here. May just have to make this into 3 parts on Harriet. But I mean, we'll have to come back the week after, because next week I am definitely doing Cupid. And may have to come back. Okay, so routes and methods. Tubman's dangerous work required tremendous ingenuity. She usually worked during winter months to minimize the likelihood that the group would be seen. One admirer of Tubman said she always came in the winter when the nights are long and dark and people who have homes stayed in them. Once she had made contact with escaping slaves, they left town on Saturday evenings since newspapers would not print runaway notices until Monday morning. Super smart. Her journeys into the land of slavery put her at tremendous risk, and she used a variety of subterfuges to avoid detection. Tubman once disguised herself with a bonnet and carried 2 live chickens to give the appearance of running errands. Suddenly, finding herself walking toward a former owner in Dorchester County, she yanked the strings holding the bird's legs, and their agitation allowed her to avoid eye contact. Later, she recognized a fellow train passenger as another former master. She snatched a nearby newspaper and pretended to read. Tubman was known to be illiterate, and the man ignored her. While being interviewed by author Wilbur Sibert in 1897, Tubman named some of the people who helped her and places that she stayed along the Underground Railroad. She stayed with Sam Green, a free black minister living in East Newmarket, Maryland. She also hid near her parents' home at Poplar Neck. She would travel from there northeast to Sandtown and Willow Grove, Delaware, and to the Camden area, where free black agents William and Nat Brinkley and Abraham Gibbs guided her north past Dover, Smyrna, and Blackbird, where other agents would take her across the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal to Newcastle and Wilmington. In Wilmington, Quaker Thomas Garrett would secure transportation to William Steele's office or the homes of other Underground Railroad operators in the greater Pennsylvania area. Steele is credited with aiding hundreds of freedom seekers escape to safer places farther north in New York, New England, and present-day southern Ontario. Tubman's religious faith was another important resource as she ventured repeatedly into Maryland. The visions from her childhood head injury continued, and she saw them as divine premonitions. She spoke of consulting with God and trusted that he would keep her safe. Thomas Garrett once said to her, I've never met with any person of any color who had more confidence in the voice of God as spoken direct to her soul. Her faith in the divine also provided immediate assistance. She used spirituals as coded messages, warning fellow travelers of danger or to signal a clear path. She sang versions of Go Down Moses and changed the lyrics to indicate that it was either safe or too dangerous to proceed. As she led fugitives across the border, she would call out, Glory to God and Jesus too, one more soul is safe. She carried a revolver and was not afraid to use it. The gun afforded some protection from the ever-present slave catchers and their dogs. However, she also purportedly threatened to shoot any escaped slave who tried to turn back on the journey, since that would threaten the safety of the remaining group. Tubman told the tale of one man who insisted he was going to go back to the plantation when morale got low among the group of fugitive slaves. She pointed the gun at his head and said, You go on or die. Several days later, he was with the group as they entered Canada. Bet he was. Slaveholders in the region, meanwhile, never knew that Minty, the petite 5-foot-tall disabled slave who had run away years before and never come back was responsible for so many slave escapes in their community. By the late 1850s, they began to suspect a northern white is it abolitionist? Abolitionist. Abolitionist. No, I want to say that loosh. White abolitionist was secretly enticing their slaves away. Though a popular legend persists about a reward of $40,000, it's equivalent to $1,138,220 in 2019. Dadgum for Tubman's capture. Oh, this is a manufactured figure. Okay, so it's not true. In 1868, in an effort to entice support for Tubman's claim for a Civil War military pension, a former abolitionist named Sally Holy wrote an article claiming $40,000 was not too great a reward for Maryland slaveholders to offer for her. Such a high reward would have garnered national attention, especially at the time when a small farm could be purchased for a mere $400, which is equivalent to $11,380 in 2019. And the federal government offered $25,000 for the capture of each of John Wilkes Booth's co-conspirators in President Lincoln's assassination in 1865. A reward offering of $12,000 has also been claimed, though no documentation has been found for either figure. Catherine Clinton suggests that the $40,000 figure may have been a combined total of the various bounties offered around the region. Despite the efforts of the slaveholders, Tubman and the fugitives she assisted were never captured. Years later, she told an audience, "I was conductor of the Underground Railroad for 8 years, and I can say what most conductors can't say. I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." John Brown and Harper's Ferry. In April 1858, Tubman was introduced to the abolitionist John Brown, an insurgent who advocated the use of violence to destroy slavery in the United States. Although she never advocated violence against whites, she agreed with his course of direct action and supported his goals. Like Tubman, he spoke of being called by God and trusted the divine to protect him from the wrath of slaveholders. She, meanwhile, claimed to have had a horrific vision of meeting Brown before their encounter. There was hardly a footpath or a cow path in Virginia that woman did not know. John Brown wanted to secure her services. She told him that she had her old father and mother to support, and that she had brought slaves from Virginia who were depending on her altogether. She had bought a little house and commenced paying on it. Brown asked her, "Can you leave and go with us, providing you can have your home secured and receive a small salary besides?" She said she could. John Brown wrote to Gerrit Smith, stated the facts, and through him got the necessary funds. Thus, as he began recruiting supporters for an attack on slaveholders, Brown was joined by General Tubman, as he called her. That's cute. Her knowledge of support networks and resources in the border states of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware was invaluable to Brown and his planners. Although other abolitionists like Douglas did not endorse his tactics, Brown dreamed of fighting to create a new state for freed slaves and many preparations for military action. He believed that after he began the first battle, slaves would rise up and carry out a rebellion across the slave states. He asked Tubman to gather former slaves then living in present-day southern Ontario who might be willing to join his fighting force, which she did. On May 8th, 1858, Brown held a meeting in Chatham, Ontario, where he unveiled his plan for a raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia. When word of the plan was leaked to the government, Brown put the scheme on hold and began raising funds for its eventual resumption. Tubman aided him in his efforts and with more detailed plans for the assault. Tubman was busy during this time, giving talks to abolitionist audiences and tending to her relatives. In late 1859, as Brown and his men prepared to launch the attack, Tubman could not be contacted. When the raid on Harper's Ferry took place on October 16th, Tubman was not present. Some historians believe she was in New York at the time, ill with fever related to her childhood head injury. Others propose she may have been recruiting more escaped slaves in Ontario. And Kate Clifford Larson suggests she may have been in Maryland recruiting for Brown's raid or attempting to rescue more family members. Larson also notes that Tubman may have begun sharing Frederick Douglass's doubts about the plan. The raid failed. Brown was convicted of treason, murder, and inciting a slave rebellion, and he was hanged in December. His actions were seen by many abolitionists as a symbol of proud resistance carried out by a noble martyr. Tubman herself was effusive with praise. She later told a friend, "He done more in dying than 100 men would in living." Ouch, I kicked my printer again. Auburn and Margaret. In early 1859, abolitionist Republican U.S. Senator William H. Stewart told Tubman a small piece of land on the outskirts of Auburn, New York for, did I say sold? Did I say told? For $1,200, which is equivalent to $34,150 in 2019. The city was a hotbed of anti-slavery activism, and Tubman seized the opportunity to deliver her parents from the harsh Canadian winters. Returning to the U.S. meant that escaped slaves were at risk of being returned to the South under the Fugitive Slave Law, and Tubman's siblings expressed reservations. Catherine Clinton suggests that anger over the 1857 Dred Scott decision may have prompted Tubman to return to the U.S. Her land in Auburn became a haven for Tubman's family and friends. For years, she took in relatives and boarders, offering a safe place for Black Americans seeking a better life in the North. Shortly after acquiring the Auburn property, Tubman went back to Maryland and returned with her niece, an 8-year-old light-skinned black girl named Margaret. There is great confusion about the identity of Margaret's parents. Although Tubman indicated they were free blacks, the girl left behind a twin brother and both parents in Maryland. Years later, Margaret's daughter, Alice, called Tubman's actions selfish, saying she had taken the child from a sheltered good home to a place where there was nobody to care for her. Alice described it as a kidnapping. However, both Clinton and Larson pressed the possibility that Margaret was, in fact, Tubman's daughter. Larson points out that the two shared an unusually strong bond and argues that Tubman, knowing the pain of a child separated from her mother, would never have intentionally caused a free family to be split apart. Clinton presents evidence of strong physical similarities, which Alice herself acknowledged. Both historians agree that no concrete evidence has been found for such a possibility, and the mystery of Tubman's relationship with young Margaret remains to this day. In November 1860, Tubman conducted her last rescue mission. Throughout the 1850s, Tubman had been unable to effect the escape of her sister Rachel and Rachel's two children, Ben and Angerine. Upon returning to Dorchester County, Tubman discovered that Rachel had died and the children could be rescued only if she could pay a bribe of $30, equivalent to $850 in 2019. She had no money, so the children remained enslaved. Their fates remained unknown. Never one to waste a trip, Tubman gathered another group, including the Enals family, ready and willing to take the risk of the journey north. It took them weeks to safely get away because of slave catchers forcing them to hide out longer than expected. The weather was unseasonably cold, and they had little food. The children were drugged with paregoric to keep them quiet while slave patrols rode by. They safely reached the home of David and Martha Wright in Auburn in December 28th, 1860. Okay, we're going to find out what paregoric is. It's a tincture of opium. Okay. So they gave the kids opium. Nice. American Civil War. When the Civil War broke out in 1861, Tubman saw a Union victory as a key step towards the abolishment of slavery. General Benjamin Butler, it's an interesting name, for instance, aided escaped slaves flooding into Fort Monroe in Virginia. Butler had declared these fugitives to be contraband, property seized by Northern forces, and put them to work, initially without pay, in the fort. Tubman hoped to offer her own expertise and skills to the Union cause, too, and soon she joined a group of Boston and Philadelphia abolitionists heading to the Hilton Head district in South Carolina. She became a fixture in the camps, particularly in Port Royal, South Carolina, assisting fugitives. Tubman met with General David Hunter, a strong supporter of abolition. He declared all the contrabands in the Port Royal district free and began gathering former slaves for a regiment of black soldiers. U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, however, was not prepared to enforce emancipation on the southern states and reprimanded Hunter for his actions. Tubman condemned Lincoln's response and his general unwillingness to consider ending slavery in the U.S. for both moral and practical reasons. God won't let Master Lincoln beat the South till he does the right thing, she said. Master Lincoln, he's a great man, and I am a poor Negro, but the Negro can tell Master Lincoln how to save the money and the young men. He can do it by setting the Negro free. Suppose that was an awful big snake down there on the floor. He bites you. Folks all scared because you die. You send for a doctor to cut the bite, but the snake, he rolled up there, and while the doctor doing it, he bite you again. The doctor dug out that bite, but while the doctor doing it, the snake, he spring up and bite you again. So he keep doing it, till you kill him. That's what Master Lincoln ought to know. Tubman served as a nurse in Port Royal, preparing remedies from local plants and aiding soldiers suffering from dysentery. She rendered assistance to the men with smallpox. That she did not contract the disease herself started more rumors that she was blessed by God. At first, she received government rations for her work, but newly freed blacks thought she was getting special treatment. To ease the tension, she gave up her right to these supplies and made money selling pies and root beer, which she made in the evenings. Scouting the Combahee River raid. When Lincoln finally issued the Emancipation Really? Why did Proclamation not want to come after Emancipation? I don't know. Family issued the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1863. Tubman considered it an important step towards the goal of liberating all black people from slavery. She renewed her support for a defeat of the Confederacy, and before long she was leading a band of scouts through the land around Port Royal. The marshes and rivers in South Carolina were similar to those of the eastern shore of Maryland. Thus, her knowledge of covert travel and subterfuge among potential enemies was put to good use. Her group, working under the orders of Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, mapped the unfamiliar terrain and I don't know what that word is. Let's see what it is. It's just reconnaissance. Why can't they say that, though? Anyways, of its inhabitants. She just did some reconnaissance missions. She later worked alongside Colonel James Montgomery and provided him with key intelligence that aided the capture of Jacksonville, Florida. Later that year, Tubman became the first woman to lead an armed assault during the Civil War, when Montgomery and his troops conducted an assault on the collection of plantations along the Combahee River. Tubman served as a key advisor and accompanied that raid. On the morning of June 2nd, 1863, Tubman guided 3 steamboats around Confederate mines in the waters leading to the shore. Once ashore, the Union troops set fire to the plantations, destroying infrastructure and seizing thousands of dollars worth of food and supplies. When the steamboats sounded their whistles, slaves throughout the area understood that it was being liberated. Tubman watched as slaves stampeded towards the boats. Never saw such a sight, she said later, describing a scene of chaos with women carrying still steaming pots of rice, pigs squealing in bags slung over shoulders, and babies hanging around their parents' necks. Although their owners, armed with handguns and whips, tried to stop the mass escapes, their efforts were nearly useless. As Confederate troops raced to the scene, steamboats packed full of slaves took off towards Beaufort. More than 750 slaves were rescued in the Combahee River raid. Newspapers heralded Tubman's patriotism, energy, and ability, and she was praised for her recruiting efforts. Most of the newly liberated men went to join the Union Army. Tubman later worked with Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, as the assault on Fort Wagner, reportedly serving him his last meal. She described the battle by saying, "And then we saw the lightning, and that was the guns. And then we heard the thunder, and that was the big guns. And then we heard the rain falling, and that was the drops of blood falling. And then we came to get the crops. It was dead men that we reaped." Ugh, that's terrible. For 2 more years, Tubman worked with the Union forces, tending to newly liberated slaves, scouting into Confederate territory, and nursing wounded soldiers in Virginia. She also made periodic trips back to Auburn to visit her family and care for her parents. The Confederacy surrendered in April 1865, and after donating several more months of service, Tubman headed home to Auburn. During a train ride to New York in 1869, the conductor told her to move from a half-price seat into the baggage car. She refused, showing the government-issued papers that entitled her to ride there. He cursed at her and grabbed her, but she resisted, and he summoned 2 other passengers for help. While she clutched at the railing, they muscled her away, breaking her arm in the process. They threw her into the baggage car, causing more injuries. As these events transpired, other white passengers cursed Tubman and shouted for the conductor to kick her off the train. Her act of defiance became a historical symbol, later cited when Rosa Parks refused to move from the bus seat in 1955. Later life. Despite her years of service, Tubman never received a regular salary and was for years denied compensation. Her unofficial status and the unequal payments offered to black soldiers caused great difficulty in documenting her service, and the U.S. government was slow in recognizing its debt to her. Her constant humanitarian work for her family and former slaves, meanwhile, kept her in a state of constant poverty, and her difficulties in obtaining a government pension were especially difficult for her. Tubman spent her remaining years in Auburn tending to her family and other people in need. She worked various jobs to support her elderly parents and took in boarders to help pay the bills. One of the people Tubman took in was a 5'11" tall farmer named Nelson Charles Davis. Born in North Carolina, he had served as a private in the 8th United States Colored Infantry Regiment from September 1863 to November 1865. He began working in Auburn as a bricklayer, and they soon fell in love. Though he was 22 years younger than she was. On March 18, 1869, they were married at the Central Presbyterian Church. They adopted a baby girl named Gertie, and that's kind of cute because that's the name of my car, in 1874, and lived together as a family. Nelson died on October 14, 1888, of tuberculosis. That's sad. Tubman's friends and supporters from the days of abolition, meanwhile, raised funds to support her. One admirer, it's so hard sometimes when a sentence doesn't flow well and you get hung up, and I hate that. One admirer, Sarah Hopkins Bradford, wrote an authorized biography entitled Scenes in the Life of Harriet Tubman. The 132-page volume was published in 1869 and brought Tubman some $1,200 in income. Criticized by modern biographers for its artistic license and highly subjective point of view, the book nevertheless remains an important source of information and perspective on Tubman's life. In 1886, Bradford released a rewritten volume also intended to help alleviate Tubman's poverty, called Harriet, the Moses of Her People. In both volumes, Harriet Tubman is hailed as a latter-day Joan of Arc. Facing accumulated debts, including payments for her property in Auburn, Tubman fell prey in 1873 to a swindle involving gold transfer. 2 men, one named Stevenson and the other John Thomas, claimed to have in their possession a cache of gold smuggled out of South Carolina. They offered this treasure, worth about $5,000 they claimed, for $2,000 in cash. They insisted that they knew a relative of Tubman's, and she took them into her home, where they stayed for several days. She knew that white people in the South had buried valuables when the Union forces threatened the region, and also the black men were frequently assigned to digging duties. Thus, the situation seemed plausible, and a combination of her financial woes and her good nature led her to go along with the plan. She borrowed the money from a wealthy friend named Anthony Schreimer and arranged to receive the gold late one night. Once the men had lured her into the woods, however, they attacked her and knocked her out with chloroform, then stole her purse and bound and gagged her. When she was found by her family, she was dazed and injured, and the money was gone. It's ridiculous. New York responded with outrage to the incident, and while some criticized Tubman for her naivete, how do you say it? Just naive. Most sympathized with her economic hardships and lambasted the con men. Lambasted? The incident refreshed her public's memory of her past service and her economic woes. In 1874, Representatives Clinton D. McDougal of New York and Gary W. Hazelton of Wisconsin introduced a bill providing that Tubman be paid the sum of $2,000 for services rendered by her to the Union Army as scout, nurse, and spy. The bill was defeated in the Senate. The Dependent of Disability Pension Act of 1890 made Tubman eligible for a pension as the widow of Nelson Davis. After she documented her marriage and her husband's service record to the satisfaction of the Bureau of Pensions in 1895, Tubman was granted a monthly widow's pension of $8, equivalent to $250 in 2019, plus a lump sum of $500, equivalent to $15,370 in 2019, to cover the 5-year delay in approval. In December 1897, New York Congressman Serrano E. Payne introduced a bill to grant Tubman a soldier's monthly pension for her own service in the Civil War at U.S. $25, equivalent to $770 in 2019. Although Congress received documents and letters to support Tubman's claim, some members objected to a woman being paid a full soldier's pension. In February 1899, the Congress passed, and President William McKinley signed H.R. 4982, which approved a compromise amount of $20 per month, the $8 from her widow's pension, plus $12 for her service as a nurse, but did not acknowledge her as a scout and spy. In 2003, Congress approved a payment of U.S. $11,750 of additional pension to compensate for the perceived deficiency of the payments made during her life. The funds were directed to the maintenance of her relative historical sites. Suffrage activism. All right. 1 hour and 51 minutes, and I haven't got to shop. In her latter years, Tubman worked to promote the cause of women's suffrage. A white woman once asked Tubman whether she believed women ought to have the vote, and received the reply, "I suffered enough to believe it." Tubman began attending meetings of suffragist organizations, and was soon working alongside women such as Susan B. Anthony and Emily Howland. Tubman traveled to New York, Boston, and Washington, D.C. to speak out in favor of women's voting rights. She described her actions during and after the Civil War and used the sacrifices of countless women throughout modern history as evidence of women's equality to men. When the National Federation of Afro-American Women was founded in 1896, Tubman was the keynote speaker at its first meeting. This wave of activism kindled a new wave of admiration for Tubman among the press in the United States. A publication called The Women's Era launched a series of articles on intimate women with a profile of Tubman. In 1897, suffragist newspaper reported a series of receptions in Boston honoring Tubman and her lifetime of service to the nation. However, her endless contributions to others had left her in poverty, and she had to sell a cow to buy a train ticket to these celebrations. That's so sad. AME Zion Church, illness and death. At the turn of the 20th century, Tubman became heavily involved in the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church in Auburn. That's a mouthful. In 1903, She donated a parcel of real estate she owned to the church, under the instruction that it be made into a home for aged and indigent, colored people. The home did not open for another 5 years, and Tubman was dismayed when the church ordered residents to pay a $100 entrance fee. She said, "They make a rule that nobody should come in without they have $100. Now I want to make a rule that nobody should come in unless they don't have no money at all." She was frustrated by the new rule, but was the guest of honor nonetheless when the Harriet Tubman Home for the Aged celebrated its opening on June 23rd, 1908. As Tubman aged, the seizures, headaches, and suffering from her childhood head trauma continued to plague her. At some point in the late 1980s, she underwent brain surgery at Boston's Massachusetts General Hospital. Unable to sleep because of the pains and buzzing in her head, she asked the doctor if he could operate. He agreed, and in her words, "Sawed open my skull and raised it up, and now it feels more comfortable." She had received no anesthesia for the procedure and reportedly chose instead to bite down on a bullet, as she had seen Civil War soldiers do when their limbs were amputated. By 1911, Tubman's body was so frail that she was admitted to the rest home named in her honor. A New York newspaper described her as ill and penniless, prompting supporters to offer a new round of donations. Surrounded by friends and family members, she died of pneumonia in 1913. Just before she died, she told those in the room, "I go to prepare a place for you." Tubman was buried with semi-military honors at Fort Hill Cemetery in Auburn. Isn't that amazing? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, where'd it go? There's some other stuff that's like literature and theater and opera and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going through all that. But I do want to say, $20 bill. On April 20th, 2016, then U.S. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew announced plans to add a portrait of Tubman to the front of the $20 bill, moving the portrait of President Andrew Jackson, himself a slave owner, to the rear of the bill. Lew instructed the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to expedite the redesign process, and the new bill was expected to enter circulation sometime after 2020. However, in 2017, U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, said he would not commit to putting Tubman on the $20 bill, saying, "People have been on the bills for a long period of time. This is something we'll consider. Right now, we have a lot more important issues to focus on." Boo. In 2021, under the Biden administration, the Treasury Department resumed the effort to add Tubman's portrait to the front of the $20 bill and hoped to expedite the process. That would be awesome. And I'm not a fan of Andrew Jackson, but he is from my state of Tennessee, and his ass should be on the back. Let her have the front for a while. He's been on it forever. It's just, and everybody gets so bent out of shape. It's like, it's money, and it is an important, it is an honor, but people that are so bent about Andrew Jackson not being on the front, what is that going to hurt you? You still going to spend a 20 just like you spend a 20. It does not. If you are so bent, you need to look at your heart. Let's just say that. If that is upsetting to you, you need to look at your heart. That's all I'm going to say. Because it's still a 20. It still spends like a 20. Look at your heart. All right. That was Miss Harriet. It was a lot. And I still want to see that movie. And I don't know if it's supposed to be an accurate, or if it's a little bit more artistic freedom. I'm not sure. But speaking of Harriet, had my new start. I started it today. Yep. A lot of epic fails this week. Supposed to start it on Monday. Got to work with it. I had no needle. No needle minder. So, and all my needles were attached. And I'm weird. I'm not going to cut thread and just to steal a needle. I was like, it's no big deal. I'll do it the next day. So Tuesday rolls around. I pulled Miss Harriet out. Can't get the pattern that I took because I, have my pattern. I took snapshots of it for my iPad. So I can mark off my stitches. I couldn't get it to load. Right. I don't know what the problem was. I just wasn't meant to start it on Tuesday. That's all there is to it. And then Wednesday we had a production meeting, so there was no lunch. And then Thursday I had a short lunch, so I just pulled out Girl in Blue just to throw a few stitches in. And then Friday I was here working, so I didn't get a lunch. So she did not get started until today, and I didn't get very many stitches in her, but I stitched. So obviously I'm just at the outline part. But she started, and this is 18 count XG design grandma slip. And so I think it's going to look really good on this fabric. Really good. So I'm excited. So I just threw those stitches in this morning. And actually had to stop to eat lunch and then film for you guys. We are at 2 hours. So sorry. I'm so sorry. This is so freaking long. Should I make this 2 videos? Maybe I should make this 2 videos. Do the questions. I don't know. Y'all can watch it in multiple sittings, right? Right. Okay. So this is in my bag from Sheila, my bird bag. This is my Snoopy Adventure Park. This is that full coverage piece that I'm going to do for, sorry, I know there's a glare, that I'm doing for my mother-in-law. So this is the first time I've ever done anything on gridded. It's the first time I've ever done a full coverage. And I was asking everybody, how y'all do your flosses? So I did a little bit of it in between 2 of the choices just to get started. I put them in bags, but this is only the floss for like, it's not even the first page. It's like for the first, like 4 or 5 by 4 or 5. I don't know. It's not even the first page. But, so I just pulled for the first section I'm doing. And it still makes my bag, weird, but it's fine. So, I have a start somewhere. Here we go. I'm fighting this. This stuff is stiff and terrible, by the way. But there it is. Looks like nothing. It's green. Looks like it's not green there. It's green. It's green. It looks black. But then I got my little Snoopy needle minder. This stuff is terrible. It eats your floss. It's rough. And it eats your floss. Like, I had to cut floss where it was just shredding my floss. So this may take a while, which I already knew it was going to. This is for her 80th birthday, because I know it's going to take that many years. But I got stitches, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, I wasn't hating it. And, oh, I didn't bring it in here. I bought me, a Droid tablet, so I could keep Pattern Keeper on it. So I'm doing this with Pattern Keeper. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's not bad. And then this is my Girl in Blue. Sorry, I'm flying through this part of it. Just this part most people want to see, but I don't know what I did on this from last time, but I'm sure it's just I got more of the tombstone done. Not much, but I don't know where I was last time. I don't know if I just started the tombstone. Like I said, my lunch they were not productive lunches this week, which it happens, but I met all the deadlines that I needed to meet for work. So that part's good. Doesn't stress me out as bad. Okay, and I talked about me getting needle minders. This is shop haul part. About me getting needle minders from Rebel Stitcher. And we got Fiona, which is the baby hippo at the Cincinnati Zoo, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. She's so cute. I love these. And so these are all will be in my shop later today. And then we got, and these magnets are really good magnets. And this is The Wand Chooses the Wizard, Harry Potter. I love it. And like, seriously, these magnets are really good. And then this one I think is the only one that's not her design. But I saw it and I had to have it. Oops. It's Skeletor. Right? Live, laugh, love. I mean, who does not need that in their life? Love Skeletor. I know, I'm showing my age. It's fine. And then who doesn't need a sparkly flying pig? He sparkles. Look at that. Oh, he's so cute. And then last but never least is Bigfoot, the Sasquatch. It says, believe in yourself. He's amazing. He is amazing. I love him so much. So those, I gotta take pictures of them still. That's why they're all still in this box. I have a method. I mean, I do have a method, but I'm sorry to make sure I didn't show anybody's address. Okay. Oh my God. This box is so heavy. All right, I'm gonna fly through these guys because we way too long today. Sorry, having issues. Okay, so I've got RETM's new Quaker birthday cakes. This is the March one. See if I can get it a little closer without knocking stuff off. That's so cute. A little pot of gold at the top. These are pretty quick stitches. So far, I think her January cake's one of my favorites. And then she had her new release for her Quaker Fantasies, and it's the Frog Prince. And it is absolutely Tiana's arm. Oh, I don't like the glare. And this is worth taking out. Sorry, guys. I am trying not to take so long, but this pattern is amazing. I love it. Yep. Diversity. I love it. So that's the Frog Prince. Her last one was Cinderella, and before that was Aurora. I don't know, that she keeps them secret, so I'm not really sure what's next. I'm not really sure exactly how often she's releasing them. Because I know in between all these, she's also releasing gobble couples too. So I'm not sure. We got the St. Patty's gobble couple, so I'm not sure what's next. She already has an Easter one. So, and she already has a 4th of July. So I don't know which ones will be next. Heartstring Samplery, I Wish You Lived Next Door. Which is how I feel about everybody. And these literally came in like yesterday. And I rushed to put them in. Love Notes. This is the Brenda Gervais that somebody was asking me in the questions if I was going to get it. And if those pillows are not the cutest little thing. Love it. Okay. So these next ones. Oh, I still have stuff at the bottom. But this is basically Whispered by the Wind. Designer Spotlight. So, this is Christmas Moon Volume 1. I hope you can see all these really well. I know there's a glare, but this is going to be a little bit of rattling with the papers. Get in that box. Moon set. I love it. Like, I am so glad because I had that one and I didn't realize there was more. I didn't realize how many more there were. And like, so I was super excited. The Astronomer's Gate. Sorry for the glare. All right, there we go. A little bit better. Sorry. Lots of noise. Moonrise. And most of these are actually under Halloween because most of them have like a graveyard or, you know, creepy tree or, so I had to put them under something in the categories. Wizard's Gate. Look at that. I love it so much. And then if you've got a Wizard's Gate, you have to then have a Witch's Gate. Love it. And then we have Ossuary at Twilight. Isn't that awesome? I mean, all these ravens or crows, whatever they're supposed to be, it doesn't specify. Beneath the Harvest Moon. Look how creepy is that. Ugh. And her moon is phenomenal. Man, that's creepy. I love it. I know I'm flying through these, sorry. In the Gloaming. That's pretty cool. I love all these Iron Gate. And then we have this simple one that's amazing. The Morning Tree. God, that's such an amazing pattern. I want to start it like immediately. Guardians. And these are those, well, you got some, at that point, is it called black work? Those aren't all full crosses. It's a lot of, literally, is it considered back stitching? If it's not really, you're not back stitching, but you're doing like you do back stitching. Yep. Oh, you back stitch around the crows. That'll be fun. Actually, I don't mind back stitching. This is the one I actually own. Gatekeeper. That someone actually did a pass the stash and I got it. I probably need to stitch it up and pass it along to somebody else. Harbingers. Those houses are awesome. And I feel like Whitney, not Courtney, Whitney from Three Trail Stitchers, I feel like she's got those or something close or something. She's got one of these, I feel like. Maybe Carrie does. The Explorer's Tomb. You guys. Oh my God, it's so amazing. It's amazing. And you can't have Christmas Moon Volume 1 without Christmas Moon Volume 2. Love it. Love it. Okay, so that's all the Whispered by the Winds. And then the next one, this is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This is so funny. I go from that to then this. Carrot Farm. It's so cute. He's so cute. And then we got Christmas Tree Farm, also by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I like that. I like the colors they picked. It's a good primitive-y kind of colors. And then we have, this is a Dutch sampler by the Scarlet House called Chesa Smit. Chessie Smit. The name's there. It says a Dutch sampler. Isn't that pretty? And then, last but never least, another Scarlet House Little Deeds sampler. Look at that. Love it. It's only 2 hours and 15. That's not too bad. Yeah, and that's like all I got, right? So, until next time, which we'll do Cupid. And I'm sure I'll do a Valentine's Day giveaway. But yeah, if you're still with me, you deserve a prize. Yeah, so until next time, hope everybody has a great stitchy week. And see you next week. XOXO.